Hey, hey everybody. This is Ashley from Publish with Ashley. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and those of you watching and streaming on Facebook, welcome to you all too. I'm so excited to have you here. So if you are new to my channel on YouTube or are new to my group, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put a lot of videos on there that may or may not stream, that won't probably necessarily go to my Facebook channel. So please like and subscribe to me there. But I generally like to talk about all things KDP and making money online and stuff like that. So I wanted to talk to you today about my top 7 free tools, like must-haves. I think must-haves for KDP beginners that are free. So there's a lot of things I think are really great, but they're not necessarily free tools. These are 7 free tools that I think are really, really helpful. They're ones I used when I started out. And I think they're helpful for various different reasons. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to share my screen here for those of you who are watching live. All right, so number 1, and all these, the links and stuff are all listed in the show notes for YouTube on my channel. I will actually go back and add them in on Facebook just so you have the links for those of you watching on Facebook. All right, so number 1, not maybe all that shocking, is Canva. Okay, Canva is very, very useful. I do have Canva Pro, but actually I only really use Canva Pro for my YouTube channel and my thumbnails. The free version actually works really great for KDP. I tend to do a lot more uploading of images and using images from other places than I use Canva images. A few reasons for that. There are some Canva anything that says Canva free, like anything that's free and not on the pro side. So if you're using the free account, this is fine. You can use any of those backgrounds, any of the images on your book, KDP books. Those are totally fine. Everything free is fine. I have read the Canva licensing on the graphics that are purchased, and I don't have warm fuzzies on all of it. So I tend to upload my images that I know are safe, or use free ones. So those are kind of the things. So if they're the paid ones or you have Canva Pro, you do your own research. I didn't want to hurt my brain trying to play with it, so I tend to upload stuff. Also, I think that, if you find images from various places, then you're going to have stuff that's different because a lot of people on KDP are using Canva. Now, that being said, I do use PowerPoint to create most of my interiors and covers instead of Canva, but I know people who are starting it may not have PowerPoint, or maybe that's a hard thing. Canva is a great way to start. I do have a few picture books I do create in Canva, and other things I create in Canva, but most of my books I do tend to use PowerPoint. That's a personal preference. I am going to start learning Affinity, so maybe I'll have some tutorials for you guys once I learn that whole suite. So that will be eventually once I get to that. Okay, so let's see. Beyond Casual. Oh, wait, it's morning. Okay. Did I say morning and it wasn't any morning yet? Yeah, it's probably true. Okay, so other tools. So I love Canva. Canva is great. So other free stuff for those of you who want to get some images that are totally free. I know there's Pixabay and there's some other places. I'm always worried about rights on Pixabay. You do have to do your due diligence and make sure you do a reverse image research on Google. Reverse image search on Google. You can Google that if you don't know how to do it, because I always have to Google it to remember to do it. But I wanted to show you this. The Smithsonian releases 2.8 million images into the public domain. You can go to the Smithsonian. I just used this link, and I'll put this link in just because this was a project they were trying to show kids to create fun graphic art with all these different public domain images. So I just kind of thought this picture kind of was a cool idea in the sense that you can take public domain art and use it differently. The thing about public domain is You can use it commercially free. That's all good. But you don't just want to slap a picture on there and, you know, call it good. You want to create something unique and different. So this is kind of the idea of something crazy you could do with public domain art. And I could see how fun this sort of thing would be for like kids or even, you know, humor and adults and various things. This kind of putting together of different public domain ideas really can make your stuff pop. It like just different. And this is obviously a certain target audience, but I just wanted to give you ideas of the, you know, kind of something interesting you could do. So anyway, if you scroll down here, I think it has the link to getting to it. I don't know. I knew it was here a minute ago. The link. It's just not popping up. But there's Smithsonian Institute Open Access Online Forum right there. But this link will be in there. Okay. Let's see. So number 3. We're on number 3. Hey, everybody. Sydney. Okay. Bookbolt. I know you think, oh, it's not free. Well, some of it's not free. There are free resources. So let me show you here. One of the, and this is actually a super great resource tool that I think a lot of people don't know about or don't use. There's the category. So if you go to bookbolt.com, bookbolt.io, and I have my, my link to this in here. But when on the show notes, but you go to category, there's like category finder. So if you're trying to look for categories, Amazon's not the easiest place to find that sort of thing. So there's that. There's the Interior Wizard, the Interior PDF Combiner Pro. I have used this, and this is great. Sometimes when you're combining PDFs, you want to combine different things. You have trouble doing it. This PDF combiner is great. It's free. So interiors, though, I use this a lot. I have a pro version that I purchased, but the Interior Wizard, you click on the free ones, and there are things that maybe you can mix and match. There's a lot of free ones in here that I wouldn't necessarily use maybe as is all of it, but there's stuff in here that you can add, like wide ruled paper, you can add that, or different kinds of paper. You can use some of these. So say you're making some sort of New Year's resolution, you know, body tracker logger. So here is one where they can put just a page where they can put in their before and after stats. So that's like a page that would be great as a free one to download. They have different stuff like a birthday reminder to put in your planners. That's actually a really good idea, which I didn't put in my planner. And there's a bunch of other stuff, like maybe these different types of papers would be useful for different things in your books. Graph papers, comic book strips. You know, you can take this, download it, and edit it. And now Canva.com has a PDF editor, so you can, you know, edit some of these in different ways. All right, so that's definitely something you guys should check out. The free interior, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. Okay, this one, you need some sort of graphics editor. I personally, I know there's Photoshop, there's GIMP. Photoshop is a paid tool. GIMP is a free source, but it's really complex. And I did have GIMP, but I found it more than I needed for KDP. So I actually found Paint.net, and it is free. You can offer a donation if you choose. I think I donated when I bought it just because I'm a nice person. So, but it is free. And I found it very useful. So I've actually donated to them a few times over the years because I've had this for quite a while. Now, if you don't know what Paint.net is, it's kind of like Paint on your Microsoft computer, but souped up. It doesn't have a mass amount of functions. It's not amazing, but it does what I need it to do. So it's worth a try. And what I like about it, it is simple. It is a really, really simple thing to use, and it does what I want it to do without all the bells and whistles. It saves your stuff in 300 DPI, but it doesn't pad a lot. I found that GIMP, when I saved the same file in Paint.net and I saved it in GIMP padded it, and so it was a lot bigger file. And Paint.net, you know, it was 300 DPI, but it made it just when it needed to be. There was no back end padding and making it a bigger file than it needed to be. So I like that aspect too. And it's really easy to use because there's just not that many buttons. You do have to play with the buttons that are there, but it's just not that complex. Okay, so number, what's this, 5? Number 5 is I Love PDF. And what I like about I Love PDF, there is a bunch of free tools. I know people have asked, how do I compress a file? There is something for that. How do I, edit some PDFs? How do I do, this has a bunch of free tools. You can pay for it, but the free version you usually can do like 2, I know when I did combining things, you can combine 1 or 2 a day. So there are some free things in here and upgrade things, but the other one is Small PDF. I didn't put that in here, and I will put that, let's see, Small PDF, this one, Small PDF Merge. I've used that a lot, but like I said, Bookbolt has a Small PDF merge thing. So I Love PDF has some good tools. Some are free, some are not, but you can start there if you're kind of looking for something. Okay, fonts. Font Squirrel has, I definitely used this when I started, has some great, it's probably a lot of the fonts you've seen on Canva and different places. They have a lot of great free commercial use fonts. So you can go through and see all the different stuff that's free. You can buy stuff as well, but they have a lot of really great free fonts that can get you started. So if you're needing fonts, there we are. Okay, this tool is awesome. Number 7. This is one of my favorite because I think it's undersold in the sense that you want your book and your books to be more professional, and this is a way to do it. You can make a 3D mock-up of your book. You can use, I talked about this for using it for A+ content marketing, but you could also do a 3D mock-up and put it inside your book and saying, thanks for reading this book, and you have like a picture of it in 3D. Please, at the very end of the book, you can say, please, I would really appreciate if you would review on my book on Amazon. Because I know people are always asking for, how do I get reviews? Well, ask your customer. You can't ask them to give you a positive review, but you can say, thank you for purchasing this product. Please consider giving me a review on Amazon. It would really mean the world to our small publishing company. Or if you're as an individual author, it would really mean, a lot to me as an author. And then use a big mock-up of your book, because that is going to capture their attention, that picture, and then that can help. Also, you can use this, different marketing materials, Pinterest, if you're advertising on Pinterest, if you're advertising on wherever you're doing that sort of thing. You could also, if you have 4 or 5 books in your brand series, you can make a 3D mock-up of each one, and then say, hey, if you liked this book, please consider the rest of the books in our XYZ publishing company, right? If they've already purchased your product, then there's no reason not to already to market to them. Especially if they liked your product, they would definitely consider possibly buying another one. So, do that. If you look in any publisher, any author book, there's always, Stephen King, right? At the end of every single Stephen King novel, there's like, here's other things by Stephen King. And then they go, here's other things by the publisher, right? So they're not even just advertising Stephen King stuff. They're advertising stuff from the publisher. It happens all the time. So you should do that too. So this is something I think that is overlooked, but is super, super beneficial. These can be great mock-ups for, various things, but I love this one because it's super easy and it looks really, really good. These just turn out really well. Okay. Questions, thoughts, anything, anyone have anything? Those were my 7 tools. I hope they were useful to you. There's various things you can do with any of those. Pretty much, as far as paid things I buy, I guess this is my bonus paid things that I have purchased that I really find useful. I do like Publisher Rocket. I use that a lot for marketing and for keyword ideas. I love Bookbolt for researching ideas. For me, it does a really good job for me to when I'm kind of in a funk and can't figure out what I want to do, I kind of look through things on Bookbolt and it gives me ideas. I tried, doing that the other day and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. So I like Bookbolt for that, and it is a paid tool, but it has some really great things. I have links to all this in my show notes. I like puzzles. I like to do puzzles. So there's some paid puzzle softwares in my show notes. Those are the ones I like to use. Let's see other things. Like I said, I love PowerPoint. I have PowerPoint 365 or Microsoft 365. For me, it was worth it because I use it. I don't know, I'm what they joke, PowerPoint Ranger. I know how to use PowerPoint really well. I've used it for 26 years or something like that. So for me, it works really well. I love the versatility and the fact that it can do different sizes, and it's very versatile. So I like it. And it's actually more powerful than I think most people give it credit for. And it does what I need to do well. And I know there's graphic designer proponents out there who poo-poo that, but if you know how to use it and you use it correctly, I guess is the right word, or effectively, it works exceptionally well for creating your books, if it's something you have access to. Other paid things, tangent templates. I love tangent templates. It's like tangenttemplates.rocks or something like that. It's a one-time fee. It's super, super effective. And it's really useful for a variety of things. But those were paid tools. I just thought I'd throw that out there. But I wanted you guys to see the free tool first. Okay. Yes, Publisher Rocket's needs. That's really good. Pen names. Should we have one per niche or per books? Okay, so this is my thought on pen names. You need a pen name for every audience, which is, it's a little different than a niche. Audience meaning a group of people who have similar buying patterns. So if you're doing coloring books, you could have your kids' coloring books and your kids' workbooks, and like it could all be under, you could even have some adult coloring books in there, because if you think about who is buying like kid coloring books, it's going to be like probably moms. So you could put kind of those things under there. So it's kind of a niche, but I really think of it more as a who's buying it. Your niche could be based on or your audience could be based on a subject. For example, if your audience was dog lovers, okay, there's lots of book ideas that would go for dog lovers that would be different. So you're talking, like pet care books definitely fall under that dog lovers. Notebooks fall under the dog lovers, with dogs on them, obviously. What else would be dog lovers? Walking logbooks or pet care or all sorts of different things. I'm trying to think of different interiors that would go in there. You could do graph paper, all sorts of different type of interiors, and it's all focused around things that dogs and dog lovers would want, right? So you could have a coloring book under there, which you think, oh, well, that doesn't make sense, but it does, because if it's a coloring book with dogs, it can go in there. So I don't want to say by niche, but I want to say by audience. Who in your audience is going to buy those things? I have a few examples of things I do, and I have all sorts of products within that niche, but then they're not really necessarily related, except that the audience is all something that audience would be looking for. Because that's the really important thing. You just want whoever's shopping to kind of identify you as something. Like think of big brands like Johnson & Johnson, right? They have a whole bunch of products, but their products tend to be under home care type stuff, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and body lotions, all that sort of stuff. And you think, oh, that all makes sense together, even though they're very different, but it's all that types of things. So yeah, that's how I think of pen names. I think of audience and not just niche. Who that is, and that's who you're talking to, and that's the kind of products you can put under there. If you have a Bookbolt subscription and access to templates, would you also suggest tangent templates? Yes, actually, they do very different things. Well, they do some of the same things. I will give them both that, but they both have their perks. I like Bookbolt for coming up with ideas and research, right? But I like Tangent templates for some of their templates and some of the different tools they have. They have a really great PDF inspector that I use a lot. They have a cover and interior helper, and they have a lister. And I really like the lister because Bookbolt has a lister too, but I had already had Tangent templates, and I was kind of used to their lister. A lister is just that you type in, the description, the name, the title, and then it copies and pastes that basically into your KDP file. So it's not an automated tool. It's perfectly legal because all it's really doing, the plugin is doing, is copying and pasting it from one screen to another. But I like it because it saves my profiles. Bookbolt does that as well. But there are different things. Like Bookbolt does just different things than Tangent Templates does. And mostly, I would say Bookbolt's better definitely on research and things like that. Tangent Templates just has some different templates and creativity tools. They also have an interior designer that has some really cool features too. So, but I like a lot of the tools they have. They're just kind of different. Let's see. But, depending on how much money you have, get what works for you. I have not tried Scribus. I have tried Photopea, but like I said, I liked Paint.net. It just, for me, it worked really well. And it works offline because it's something you download. And I know most people are always online, but I tend to take a lot of my work to go with my kids, wherever I am. And I don't necessarily have internet access. We go camping a lot, so I take my work camping, no internet access. So I like Paint.net, and I like a lot of downloadable programs because I end up being offline. It's one of the, for me, downfalls of Canva.com. I'm not online all the time, so when I work, so that's why PowerPoint is another reason I like that, because I can use that offline. Okay, Karen, no worries about being tardy. Tardy, I like that. Happy hear about tool options. You work in-house mostly, and your tip on paging is okay. Yep. So I'm going to do, that's something I should tell you guys about. So I am planning a Q4 Christian marketing challenge. So I still have to work out the details, when it's going to start, how it's all going to run, but I'm really excited about it because the more I think about it, the more I think it's really going to help you with this whole idea of creating a brand and a business with KDP, because that's how you make money. Like the people you always see everyone sharing that are making money, it's because they sat down and came up with a brand, a business, and they're trying to promote that to people, and it spirals. It does take work to build it, but once you've built it, you have a solid foundation to kind of boost your sales. You have kind of like this going along because you have to work, and then it goes like that, that trajectory. So the concept I'm going to say is, I think it's going to start in September, and the idea is we're going to create a niche brand. So you're going to pick like one niche and create 3 to 5 more medium, more effort interior type books around that niche. And I'll get into better how I'm going to describe all this. And then you're going to try and fill out up to 10 products total with lower content stuff. So let's take the, I'm actually going to do mine. I decided to do mine on camping and RVing. So I'm going to do, let's talk about camping and RVing. So I'm going to make an interior that's specific for camping with a very, like camping logbook or a camping travel book. And I'm going to make like one for kids, one for adults. And it's going to be more detailed. And then I'll do like a third one of some sort of more detailed things. I was also thinking about doing a children's camping book story. So something, a children's book, around camping or my first camping trip or something like that. So that's kind of my audience: camping, kids, RVers, those sort of people. And then I'm going to fill out, I'm going to make like 3 to 5, like I said, of more higher content stuff, things that just take a little bit more time. And then I'm going to fill it out with, some notebooks and stuff like that. And then I'm going to have that whole 10 product line, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to advertise it as a brand on Pinterest, and maybe through various other things. I'm actually creating an affiliate marketing site based off of this too. And that will be way more than I can do in this Q4 challenge for you. But I'm kind of combining those two things in one kind of thing, so that I can kind of show you some different tips and tricks. But we're going to kind of try and really use that A+ content marketing to market this whole brand. We're going to try and use Pinterest and maybe some other techniques. So that's kind of my idea of my Q4 challenge, is to kind of get you guys to see the possibilities of creating something more than just here or there, a notebook here or there, creating something cohesive. So that's what I'm going to do for my Q4 challenge. I hope that sounds interesting to you all. If not, it's going to have at least a lot of interesting skills, tips, tricks, and the whole bit, because there's going to be a lot to go with that. All right. What types have been profitable for me in Q4? Q4 stuff is pretty much, there's a lot of stuff. Anything gift will sell. Anything that's a gift. Think gift. I was thinking about teachers' gifts. What kind of fun books could you for teachers that people would want to buy and give to a teacher? So just anything gifty that sells. Anything like anything and everything sells in Q4. But if you're going to focus specifically on Q4 stuff, it's obviously holiday stuff, Thanksgiving, Christmas, winter, and then into the January season, which is planners, weight loss, New Year's resolution, vision, manifestation, new year, new you type stuff. But like all of that sells. Like everything sells. Camping sells at Christmas because people buy camping stuff as gifts, right? So even though camping in Christmas isn't a huge thing, it's a gift type market. So there's things you can do like that. So Q4 is kind of, depends how you want to do it. I would actually suggest creating some more evergreeny type things that are focused on gifts that you could sell the whole year round, and then maybe doing a few seasonal holiday Christmas planners that are that January season to try and round everything out. But that's the idea with this Q4 thing. It's to create a bunch of products in a certain niche that can have year-round and focused potential. Like you could create a camping and Christmas, notebook or something like that to go with like my whole camping thing. So I could do a gift type thing for campers that's Christmas themed, but also it's still staying in my niche and creating that brand so that I can have things that will sell all year round. All right. Yes, Q4 is so fun. Anything else? Any other questions, everybody? That's kind of what I'm thinking for my Q4 challenge. I know there's a lot of Q4 challenges out there, and I was trying to come up with how could I make mine different? And I think I really want you guys to succeed in the long term. And so succeeding in the long term is about thinking 2 steps ahead, thinking about that brand, thinking about how you can take what you have and build successfully on each thing that you're doing and create more of a cohesive product line that, will sell. And it's fun to do that. And you should pick a niche so start thinking about your niches. I'm going to do some brainstorming as part of the Q4 thing, but I want it to be something that you enjoy. Okay. I go camping. So I'm doing camping for mine and for my examples. Okay. And I know the niche well, right? So you want it to be something well, something you're excited about. So that way, you have 2 things. 1, you're excited about doing it. 2, you have kind of that insider knowledge. If you've never camped in your entire life, creating a camping notebook probably is not your best bet. But for me, and I've done a lot of it, I know how to do it. I know what campers want. I know what campers are looking for. I know, you know, the certain things that they, the keywords, the terms, that sort of stuff. I know, you know, that niche. So that's what I want you guys to do. All right. If that is it, I am going to go, and I will see you all next week. I'm here live next week, and I'm going to noon Eastern, kind of here every week. And I'll talk more about, I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. I have a few videos I know that are planned out coming through the week on my YouTube channel. So please check out my YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Oh, yes, you can, well, can you use Facebook Marketplace for advertising? Maybe. I mean, if you're going to buy your books and then sell them, but you could use Facebook page. You could do a Facebook page. And that's one of the things I was looking at exploring. The reason I like to do, I think I'm going to focus on Pinterest a little bit and just talk about the other stuff, is because Pinterest is something you can put out there and it works for you 24/7. And Pinterest just, people plan their purchases using Pinterest. If you're a Pinterest user, you plan stuff to buy on Pinterest. Like that's kind of the Pinterester way. So it's a really great platform for that sort of thing. All right, I will talk to you all next week, and thanks for stopping by. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'll be there next week. Thanks. Bye.